The DM then wanted the group's own account of what happened, starting from leaving the hunt to search for the missing men. He added, "As best you can remember. These will be your characters' statements to the police, which will be cross-examined against each other, the hunters, and the baddies in custody. Polybius is up first."
I joined the hunt late. The medication for my war wounds takes its toll sometimes, so I believe I arrived just as the majority of the hunt was completed, and maybe we were traveling to the last location for some beasts. You will forgive me, this has obviously been quite traumatic, plus, as mentioned, the medication, so I am a little hazy on the start of this. What I do know is that we were informed that the two brothers were reported missing sometime not longer after myself and Antidermis Tugger joined the group. We were given their last known coordinates. Base told us that the tree coverage would likely prevent the drone footage and that it would follow as much as possible. It was either at camp or just before that we discovered signs of struggle as well as evidence that someone was injured in the exchange, whether kidnapper or brother, unsure. I don't think the drone was with us at this point either, the aforementioned tree density causing issues. We explored more of the area, maybe widening the area, but we did find cameras. The excellent Goldie, that's Marvin Goldheart, worked his magic to give us better location of the camera's origin point. So off we trotted. We then came across two miscreants with dirty dogs. We tried to speak with them, myself, Captain Cody, and possibly Jinx. The dirty dogs, however, were unleashed and we were attacked. The dogs were killed in a firefight exchange and one miscreant was wounded and down. I think Jinx, Captain Cody and Owen, or maybe Ant, were wounded as well. They all seemed to get hit quite often, so unsure what firefight with these and the ones from the illegal camp they earned their wounds. The other ran and was chased by myself, Goldie and Larry Krabby. We shot him and brought him back to camp. He was stabilized and hog-tied. The rest of the lads had stabilized their captive, as well as hog-tied him, of course. They became quite rowdy, while also not answering our questions in relation to the brothers, so we tranked them with their own weapons. We continued, "Sorry, can I have a coffee, please? Some pastries if you have them. And when do you suppose I will have Bessie returned? Family heirloom and all that." I gather from your expression they will not be forthcoming. Anyway, yes. We arrive at some sort of camp. A farm? Some barns and animal pens. The majority of the lads go down to the farmhouse, while myself and Goldie look after the miscreants and take overwatch positions in the trees. He may be an engineer, but he is a damn fine shot, nearly as good as I am. Good man to have at your back. Captain Cody, as always, up front and center, flanked by Jinx and Deathstalker. Yes, of course that's his real name. Krabby and the lovely Electra were also up front. Oh, and I think Ant was up a tree. He really likes trees, apparently. They call out to the camp, and an old man comes out. I don't know what was said. I was watching through a scope. No, there were no orders to shoot on sight. The old man then just walked back to the farmhouse. Captain and the others stood where they were. 30 seconds. Maybe a minute later, dogs came from somewhere. The farmhouse, perhaps, or one of the barns. Barking, aggressive, heading straight for the team. Yes, I started shooting then. Yes, so did the others. Yes, I thought the team was endangered and the dogs were a threat. Yes, I was impressed at my 200-meter headshot on a moving target in low-visibility grasslands. Oh, you didn't ask that. My apologies. The team were attacked by the dogs. There was also fire coming from the barns. They must have known we were coming, the aforementioned cameras in the woods. Myself and Goldie continued to fire upon dogs attacking the team before switching targets to the barn attackers. The team had taken heavy wounds. I found out later that Owen and Captain Cody were extremely badly hurt and still in hospital now as I answer these questions while the others took wounds as well. Electra and Krabby assaulted the farmhouse, followed by Jinx after she took care of the captain. Good woman to have at your side for reference. Owen and Captain stayed in cover. We tranked the miscreants again and, how many times did we trank them? Oh, about 6, maybe 7 times, I think. We didn't want enemies at our backs, and even a wounded man can wield a gun. Sorry, seen this too many times in my career. Myself and Goldie then went through the woods to circle round to the barn. It had gone quiet, and we didn't want anyone armed to circle round to the team. Checking the barns and seeing nothing, we moved to the farmhouse and saw two of the people trying to escape, so opened fire. One perished, and another was badly wounded. He was stabilized, I believe. The old lady didn't make it. I think then that the team had cleared the farmhouse, and then Goldie mentioned that he heard something, and we moved back to the back of the barns. A truck came out, which myself and Goldie fired on. Yes, we are aware they are difficult shots, but we are rather good. Goldie's shot damaged the car somewhat, and then we all bundled into a truck and chased, again with Goldie and I firing on the truck. Soon the truck was hit again, the driver took one in the shoulder, and the truck crashed. Again they were stabilized. We loaded them in the truck, took them back to the farm, called in the medics, then explored. We found that the attack dogs were all from illegal breeding, plus there was an underground drug factory. We left it all as is, then waited for you.
Antidermist Tugger is the next member of Captain Cody's crew to be ushered into the interrogation room.
I ain't telling you lot nothing. I just went with them toffs and was told to shoot some animals. Those farmer bastards shot me cause we were told some geezers got kidnapped and went looking for them. Other than that you ain't getting nothing from me. Why am I still here? Why are you holding me?
Larry Krabby is next to be ushered into the interrogation room.
I have only recently begun working for Cody, the captain, and have been taken on as an astronavigator. I was not anticipating a landside adventure, although as an ex-Marine, we are taught to deal with anything. I can't add much to the events that took place in the wilderness. I know that we were hunting for some dangerous beasts and were armed with rifles and pistols. I suffered a heavy attack from one of these creatures that nearly killed me. It stomped and gored me, and I understand I suffered a head injury. I believed I had fully recovered after some basic field first aid and was able to carry on the journey. I know we were involved in some kind of firefight with some aggressive bandits, but can't give much more detail. I have been informed that I drove after a group of fleeing bandits in a pickup truck where I was shot through the windshield. I managed to bring the vehicle to a halt soon after and immediately gave myself first aid. I'm sorry I can't be much more help. If any more detail comes back to me, I will let you know. It is not uncommon to suffer mental relapses after traumatic injuries, and I hope that these effects are only temporary.
Marvin Goldheart and Owen Deathstalker are next. Separate rooms, obviously.
We received a message from base camp concerning the disappearance of two brothers that were also participating in the hunt, showing us video evidence of what looked like a savage animal attack and a shooting. We were asked to go and search for them and directed to their last known location, where we picked up tracks and began to follow. I am not sure of the time scale involved but became aware of cameras set up in the trees while following their trail. Not soon after the discovery of the cameras, a dog-like creature attacked one of us, sadly I can't remember who, and shots followed, which I believe mostly missed, but one did hit Captain Cody. We dispatched the creature and then a firefight between us, and two gentlemen ensued. They were quickly detained, and their wounds treated. Following the tracks we soon came across the farmhouse. I was asked to stay back within the tree line with Polybius to keep an eye on the two gentlemen and provide cover if anything untoward happened. Captain Cody and the rest of the crew then walked to the farmhouse to speak with an elderly gentleman sitting on the porch. From what I could see, a short conversation took place. Captain Cody later said the gentleman simply got up and went into the farmhouse. Some kind of warning system then went off as many wild beasts were released from pens and attacked my friends, with shots immediately following from the farmhouse and two barns. And Polybius started shooting the wild beasts and then at the barns to try and force the occupants to stop firing upon our friends. Later, we then ran around the perimeter to come in from the side of the barns, while shotgun and pistol fire kept breaking the silence. Upon reaching the barns, myself and Polybius made our way to the farmhouse, but we encountered no one. By this point I was scared, and with near exhaustion, all I could hear was my heart beating loudly, and had a stitch that slowed me to a walk. This crazy shit is why I became an engineer within the Navy and not a Marine. Upon reaching the side of the barn, I stayed to keep an eye on the 2 back doors, and not soon after, I heard more shots and the sound of a vehicle being started from within. I called Polybius back to me, and in an attempt to stop the vehicle from escaping the compound, we opened fire. We managed to hit and slow the vehicle, which enabled us to give chase. Shots were returned and Krabby, our driver, was hit. After more exchanges of gunfire, the vehicle in front crashed. We gave medical treatment to those in need and discovered the brothers were not amongst the passengers. Calling in help, we made our way back to the farm to discover the 2 brothers hanging like cattle to be slaughtered in one of the barns, and further investigations found an underground drug-making facility. I was exhausted and shaken by this whole experience, and I'm just glad that I and all my friends are still alive.
So we finished the hunt and then get a call from base camp. 2 brothers from the hunt have gone missing, and we are asked if we could track them down. So we start to track them and come across some blood and bandages. It looks like someone tried to keep someone alive. Then we track the footprints off the beaten track into the forest. We kept seeing flashes from the sun as we were walking, which we thought were cameras. It turns out there are quite a few cameras around, so you might want to check the area. When we hit the trees, the drone above us couldn't follow. As we started going through the trees, a dog from out of nowhere came darting at us. I can't remember if the owner said stop, but they lost control of the dog, or one of us shot the dog first. Anyway, Cody, Jinx, and myself, I think, tried to talk to them, but Cody, I think, got shot. There ended up being 2 of them, and we put them down. After, we medically saved one of them and tranquilized them both. We then get to a clearing with 2 barns, a house, and some dog cages with lots of dogs. There was an old man sitting in front, and 4 of us tried to talk to him, but he ran back in the house and set off an alarm, which set the dogs to attack us. Lots of firing happened, but we stopped some very naughty people.